Alright, got a special one today. Going to be doing a Band-It pen kin. These run on the Junior 2 series bushings, so this is going to be the body. I've got my larger end to the center where the nib is going to be, and then my smaller bushing to the post cap end. And we're going to be doing this in Purple Heart. I've already turned up my cap, and I've got it a little bit larger than the bushings because we're also going to be doing an opal band here. We're going to do an opal band right here. And then the neat part about this kit is that you can customize the center band here because it has this little band on it. And so instead of it having a pre-made band, you can actually fill that band with whatever you want. Watch parts, opals, turquoise, glow powder, whatever you want to put in there. You can customize that center band for your ink pen. So that's a pretty cool little feature. These are stainless steel on everything except for the clip. That way it's got a little bit of flexibility. So the clip is chromed brass, I believe. But everything else is stainless steel, so that's pretty cool. So we're going to get this body turned up. I already did the cap, and then I'll show you guys my inlay process, which you've seen before, but we'll do it again. And let's get this going. So there we go. Leave that a little proud of the bushings there. That way you got plenty of room to cut in your opal bands. And then I'm going to grab the bushings. This one's easy because it's got a larger end, but you always double check where you're going to be putting your arrangements for your cap. So we're going to be doing one at the top of the cap and one at the bottom of the body, because that center band's also going to have opal. So there'll be 3 spots with opal bands on it. So it'll be a kind of a neat deal. It'll look really balanced. We're going to be doing some white moonbeam opals on these. So let's go ahead and get that going. Got these set up. So this is my center line, and I know that because on the insides of the tubes I've got a blue permanent marker marking on the insides of the tubes that tell me where my grain line lines up here. So you can actually see my grain line here comes to a pinch this way, and my grain line here comes to a pinch this way. So this is where my grain lines up, is right here at the center. We're going to be doing a couple of opal bands here toward the end. Probably a quarter inch in. I get my calipers here. Oh, 0.16 inches in. So yeah, I think that would be good right there. Actually, you know what? We're going to go 0.2, I think. 0.2 inches in. It's not much of a difference, but it's enough to give me enough meat to this end to make me feel more comfortable. Gives it a little bit more drop protection. A little more sturdiness. And then I think we'll do 0.15 in thickness. I've found to be a good thickness for inlay. Gets the opals about 2 wide, 2 in width. It'll look good. I think that'll match up with the pen kit pretty well. If I can figure out where did I put that thing out? There it is. So I said it'll almost match up with the center band. The center band is exactly 0.15 inches in thickness, so that'll match up perfectly. That was a nice mistake. Coincidental mistake. Didn't even set that up. Alright, so now I'll cut those out using a parting tool. Can't hardly see my lines. Once I start cutting, I won't be able to see them at all, so I'll just darken those up using my pencil while it's spinning. There we go. And there, that's better. There we go, got those nice and shiny. Now I am going to go through, put a little CA on there, and then seal them up because I'm going to paint those tubes silver. The Moonbeam Opals work better with a silver background. They shine through better. The Moonbeam Opals are white, but when you put a black background on them, they're white, but they're actually translucent. So when you put a black background, then they kind of soak in the black, they turn dark, and then the pink in them shows through, so they actually look like pink stones afterward. But if you do silver, then they reflect the silver and they are white. The light still keeps them white, and then the pink just is a flash, and so you keep the whiteness of the stone and then end up with a pink flash, which is better. Just take some thin CA and we just seal up the grain on the inside. That way it doesn't soak up any of the silver pen pigment and end up with silver grain lines when you turn it down flush. You don't want that. There we go. Now with the center band, when I go to do it, I won't have to worry about that because the center band itself is silver. It's stainless steel. All I'll need to do with it is just kind of roughen it a little bit. That way the glue sticks to it. I forgot first I needed to paint these silver for you so you could see it. So I just use a silver Sharpie. And it works really well. Just get that in the corners, put it in the center. And then let that dry, and as it dries the pigment kind of settles out, and then go back over it a second time, otherwise the brass still kind of shows through. Then you get a better effect. Doing 2 coats of Sharpie. I do the same thing when I use black. Some of the opals like black, some of them like silver. Got one that actually likes brass, so I just leave that one alone. There we go. Let that fully dry, and then we can start putting those in. So on to our montage. Alright, so I got my center band chucked up in here. I lost all the footage for my the montages, so sorry you guys didn't get to see me put the opal inlays in there. You've seen me put them in there before, but this is kind of a unique one. That kind of mad that the program that I use in order to run those didn't work out, so I'm looking for a new one now. But we got these all set up in the center band. We're going to go ahead and turn it down flush to the stainless steel, and then we'll do the regular blanks. There we go. Let's go ahead and sand and polish that up, and we're good to go. Let's go ahead and get this all turned down and trimmed up to the bushings. Looks like I had one opal came flying out right there, or it had an air bubble, one or the other. So before I sand that, I will pick that area clean and fill it in with a little bit of CA glue. Just pick out any loose particles and dust. Yeah, the shape of that, I'll bet I had an opal come flying out of that. Touch that little activator. And then you just put this at the corner and let it fill into the hole. And just activate that. And do it again. have enough. Then we'll just trim that flush. Get a couple of holes right there. Just go ahead and pick those clean. Get those all sanded up and polished, and then I'll show you guys the assembly. So now we're going to get this pen put together. So it looks pretty straightforward. We've got our tip bushing here, and we're going to double check. I don't know if you can see that there. There is a blue mark inside of that barrel. That tells me where the concentricity line is that I need to line up for the grain to match. So I'm going to have that facing up in my hands here. When I put this together, I'm going to put both ends together at the same time. Now apparently with these you got to be careful, because these I don't know what you'd call these shoulder couplings right here are actually loose. It's the first time I've ever seen one that's loose, and so you got to kind of watch for that as you're taking them out of the bag and going to assemble them, because I dropped one and then I had to spend time finding it, and that's so much fun. Make sure we don't get any binding. Ooh, got a little bit there. There we go. Oh, you know what? This has a removable rear cap, so we'll just take that off. I don't like pressing against something with small threads on it like that post cap, so I'll take that off. That just makes it better to press against. Put our post cap back on. Actually have a little spring that has to go inside of there, just like that. Then we put our post cap in. And we can drop our ink in, take our cap off, and put our grip on. And we're going to take this, we're going to thread this on. And now we have to find our grain, because I lost it. Have to see where it matches up at. There we go. We can kind of see this area right here pinches, and this area right here pinches. So that's our grain line going that way. So we're going to push that onto that plastic sleeve and make sure we're still lined up. Nope, went off center a little bit. So we just take it off the plastic sleeve. Make sure this is tight. There's our mark again. There's that one. There we go. Now we push those together. Take that off. Now we can grab our cap. Just put that off center a little. And there we have it. I'll just press that in for good measure. Perfect. Perfect grain matchup. You can see all those opals in there. Look really good. Really happy with how that turned out. And the cap does post on the back for writing. Nice roller ball on here, all stainless steel parts. Like I said, minus the clip, which is like an antique pewter finish, which is nice too. Really happy with that. Alright, I'm going to get some photos of that and ship that off to my customer.